Welcome to this session on conflict management. And so far, we have discussed things like alertness, and we've looked at attentiveness, and that was session number 2. And today we're going to look at availability. Where does that fit in? And the reason why we often are in a workplace that you see people are taking chances, they're lying, you are suspicious. You are even apprehensive, they're indecisive, they're skeptical, they are aloof, they are withdrawn. There's lots of excuses, even lack of trust. They want to manipulate you. Or there's laziness, distracted, all these symptoms. Now, how do we fix this? Where do we start? Because that's causing a lot of conflict, even resentment and unforgiveness and hatred and revenge, and you feeling sometimes even unworthy. But I want to stop with that because I'm saying, I can give you a list of all these symptoms, but what are we going to do it? Because people will be stubborn, even your clients. There will be like frustration. They will be feeling like, just want to say, well, listen, they are spiteful, they gossip, they are critical by nature, very judgmental. So what do? You need to look at the quality of what we call availability, because if you don't fix that, people is going to be disappointed, even your clients, and then there's discouragement, there's a distance, they disconnect, and then they fully disengage, because that's a dangerous thing when your customers and your clients starting to disengage with you. So what you need to do as a leader, as a manager in your office, check your own availability, because sometimes you need to sit down with people. And sitting down means, well, listen, let's look about what's golden in our team. What are we doing well? But you've got to be bold enough to say, well, listen, there's a couple of rusty things. We are not always focused. That's the reason why our clients are unhappy and causing conflict. But you've got to look at always, the third one is red alerts. What are we seeing? Where are we vulnerable? What are we missing? Where are we? What do we do when we are under pressure? And then finally, your blue sky. Blue skies is, let's look at opportunities. So you can see I'm talking about your availability, because at the end of the day, you're going to get, even with clients, energy givers, energy wakers, all wasters and energy takers, because some of the clients going to be unthankful. They've, you just can see they are negative, and they're not bringing the best out of you. And your job is to stay enthusiastic, to praise us and always encourages them, and to look at ways to serve them, to give them thanks. But how do we do it? And I'm saying, let's get to the point. If you are serious in doing it, you're going to go back to what I call the character quality of availability, because the opposite of availability is you become self-centered. So availability to me is, are you able to look at your priorities and say, well, listen, hey, I need to refocus. I need to look at, because if I'm going to miss them, I'm not going to connect with them. We're not going to make adjustments. And that's why we're not going to be even productive. So you got to develop the skills of availability, because availability help you to communicate. You can sit down with people, and it's not always easy, because you got to put a couple of minutes even per day aside, talking to your team, talking to your clients. And that's what I'm always saying is time out. And time out means you listen, listen, listen. And I've learned something about availability. They call it the 5 A's of availability. The first one is you got to be apparent, but in other words, open disclosure of information. Be honest about that. You got to be authentic. Authentic means you act according to rules and certain principles and stick to that. The third one is you're going to be accessible, and decide what's the best time when you're going to be accessible. But then also approachable, because if you're not approachable, you don't have an open door, you cannot see somebody. I know what's going to happen. It's going to be frustration. But then you cannot have availability without accountability. Accountability is the following. You start realizing, listen, I'm going to put some time aside. I want to be accountable. So check yourself, do analysis, go deeper in this specific topic. Look at where you are, look at the lessons, and look at your own values and principles, and be available. Don't burn yourself out. There's some time that I don't want to say keep on just be available for each and every person. So my advice is go and make a difference, but apply the principle of availability. Be blessed, go and make the difference.